But other news, um, Conor Poirier 2.
Mm,
Let's talk about Conor Poirier 2, or McGregor Poirier 2, because if we would call it Conor Dustin 2. Let's be
mm.
uniform here. That's all I'm
Okay.
trying to say. Kobe, be uniform. So McGregor Poirier 2
Mm,
it was agreed to as a charity match, and then Dana White said, okay, fine, we'll offer the fight. And so, according to, I believe it was ESPN where I read it, physical bout agreements have been sent out to the camps. Neither camp has confirmed or denied that they got it. As of right now, nothing. Well, as of 2, 3 days ago, nothing is said to have been signed by either side. Um, it seems McGregor's not all in. He doesn't really. He wants to carry forward with Pacquiao and a charity match, not involving the UFC. Yeah, man. Do you think this fight gets signed?
in the end, well, I don't know. I don't know if it does get signed. First, let's go with what I wanted. I wanted Dustin versus Tony because we were kind of like hyping that up. We were mentally prepared for that to be the replacement fight on the card for 255 or
Mm-hmm.
254. Um, and I kind of, the more I thought about that fight, I was like, those two guys haven't fought each other yet. It's a good time to do it. Let's go ahead and do that. But in doing matching those two up, you do kind of be like, okay, well, then who's Conor fight? You have Conor fight Michael Chandler, who doesn't have UFC name value yet. So Conor, I don't think would do that. So if you have to have somebody for Conor to fight, then sure, you're gonna break that fight up and just have him be Dustin. So sure, you can do the Dustin rematch. That's fine. They're both ready to go. They have some history there. But does it get done? I don't know. Definitely from Dustin's side, obviously. He's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Conor doesn't seem too adamant about it. I mean, he definitely wants to fight. He's just like, he's adamant to
Yeah.
fight. But I don't think he likes fighting for the UFC.
I mean, I think you're right. Well, I
I'm
think
not
that
sure.
yeah, I think that Connor at this stage in his career, I think it legitimately, the McGregor promotions thing has always been a
Yeah.
part of his bit, but I really do think that at this point in his career, he is not happy with the way MMA works. I don't I think that he truly wants to I think that I don't know what his contract is. I don't know how many fights are on his contract. He's no longer a champion. So if we ever see Conor go out like outright trying to avoid a title match, um, that's why. If it ever seems obvious that like okay, Conor should fight for a belt and he avoids it, championship clauses are real, which means that your contract essentially it extends your contract if you win a belt. They they get you for each bout, pretty much.
Mhm.
I think that even though this is a little bit off topic, I think the future of Conor McGregor's fighting career really is fight out his contract and actually launch McGregor Promotions.
I mean, he's ascended to the point that Mayweather did, where it's like I'll just put all this shit together myself. And he's already in the UFC being like, all right, when I show up, I'm picking who I'm fighting. I'm the one that's calling all the shots. We're going to work this around my schedule. So it's like, you don't, and if you're going to fight once a year and like one offs, just whatever, what do you need the UFC for? Just do one. Do one. I mean, he already experienced this when they let him go do the boxing thing against Floyd. Like the UFC obviously let him do that, but they weren't the ones that were orchestrating the whole thing. Like he's seen, like I can do this. I got all the money. Like if I want to fight, if he does do kind of like he did this last week where he's like, I want to fight Dustin. And like I want to be totally in charge of of making all the rules and like all of it. Like he can do that, but he's locked in the UFC contract. So I think once he gets out of that, I think we definitely see a point of like just Conor fighting an MMA fight outside of the UFC. It's just Conor Promotions, or him starting up his own organization at some point in the future. I can see that too, and him bringing in some Irish guys to fight on his undercards and stuff.
Well, I think that eventually it would be something like an actual co-promotion, because I think
Yeah.
he will always need the talent pool of the UFC. I mean, it's slim pickings out there, especially name value and talent level. So I think that we there's the possible future of a McGregor, but as of right now, it seems like he doesn't really want to play ball. At the very least, he doesn't want to play to the UFC's tune
Hmm.
anymore. Um,
But this
and I
is, I
think,
mean, imagine him trying to negotiate this fight with Dustin in January when it's like, okay, there's no gate, right? You're not going to make any money off of the gate. Your pay-per-view sales are extremely diminished because this whole ESPN the Plus thing, the way it's set up, you have to have ESPN Plus to buy the pay-per-views. Probably sucks, dude. If you're a Conor being like, and you're not a champion, like you don't have a lot of leverage here to be like, yo, where's my
yeah,
like millions and millions of dollars at? Like I'm fighting Dustin Poirier. And then Dustin was getting screwed over. He's still getting paid like 150, 150 to show up and stuff. Like it's crazy. So yeah, I imagine.
yeah, I think that's
I'm so undecided. I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no. This fight doesn't happen in
yeah,
January.
I think that honestly, it is I think it comes down to two things. Conor wants to fight, and I also think that the UFC telling him, "Hey, man, we can't afford to have you fight because there's no gate." Well, dude seems to have been let in on the numbers. So I would
Mm,
assume McGregor knows that's not true. Like,
yeah.
you could afford to pay him just as much as you always pay him. You just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Fighters, the number that's floated around is what, like 15 to 20% of the
Mm-hmm.
revenue goes
Yeah.
to all fighters. This is McGregor included. As much as he makes, it's 15 to 20%. So, hey, I don't blame him. And I think that I just don't think Connor is accepting their reasoning
Yeah.
because you saw in the leaked messages that was the sentiment of White.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no gate. Like
Yeah.
we're taking in way less money. But like I said, when you're a McGregor and you have been a legitimate business partner of the UFC, you understand how much more money has been left on the table that
Mm-hmm.
the fighters don't get.
Yeah.
So as a fan, I want this power struggle, if you can even call it that, to be over. I I want to see McGregor fight. I want to see Poirier fight, and I want to see them fight each other again at lightweight because that's a brand new fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I don't. Even though I want it to happen, I don't think a rematch will happen. I don't think we see Conor again until Pacquiao
Mm.
in December, January, like they want to do. So,
Yeah.
that's that. Burn, burn. I
Mm.
just don't want to see him box. Whatever.
Nah.
It is what it is.